Cute Accelerationist Theory, colligated by the Marketable Archive, with Smugbug, international consultant, political author, and CEO. Hello, and welcome to the culminating episode of the Cute Accelerationism Book Club. I am Dispel, and as you can see, I have differentiated quite a bit since my former state as an undifferentiated interface of potential. In this show, I attempt to connect a couple of loose strands from the Cute Accelerationism books, starting from their theory of movement based on Takashi Murakami, and then moving on to body horror and finally posthumanism. All this came about from the odd contrast between Japanese artist Junji Ito, known for his bubbly personality and grotesque horror, with the animated movie director and artist Hayao Miyazaki, someone known for his dour attitude, despotic, even abusive relationship to work, with a gift for wrapping serious themes up for young audience, and potentially answer the question, why are we fascinated with horror? At this point in the recording, we had already been talking for 3 hours. I don't really wrap up the theory into something cohesive, so allow me to sketch it out. Cute represents a fascising process antagonized by the grotesque. This is a real current under the discourse yet to be explicitly described and has been explored. The theory roughly maps fascism onto the cute and grotesque onto egalitarianism, representing the uncertain truth of decay, degradation, and degeneracy. It represents a value for humanity besides the beauty products and surgeries money can buy. Cute represents becoming smooth, deceitful, and superficial. It represents sign exchange. It represents something being implied. It represents idealism, and the grotesque represents practicalism. I believe leftism, or whatever it represents, is for losers. It's for the disgusting, it's for the freaks, it's for the social rejects. Cuteness represents a fetishization of youth, beauty, life, intangibility, and a rejection for all that is serious. Cute is a powerful ideological tool when many people take politics too seriously and become detached from reality. The grotesque is also a powerful ideological tool to sideload politics into disengaged subjects because life is politics and visualizing the process of decay, otherwise imperceptible on a day-to-day basis, gives us a mirror to potentially reflect on. To relate this to modern politics a bit, Hassan Piker's politics as fashion feels strange. He's a millionaire who got his wealth from middle-class Twitch subscriptions advocating for the destruction of capitalism. He rose to fame trailing the socialist presidential runs of Bernie Sanders. Hassan is handsome, his fans are young and mostly women, who abjectly hate rural conservative voters. They resent people who do not have good teeth, are aging, are cracking, are diabetic, and are ideologically repulsive or callous. These are people Bernie Sanders wouldn't want to leave behind. Hassan's assemblage of trends is superficial, but it does serve an important duty to seed a kernel of leftism to young, receptive audience. The fundamental mirror to his cuteness is that we will all eventually end up being the backwards, disgusting generation we hated for a new wave of political subjects. That's okay. That's life. We will not live forever, and it leaves us with the question of the future we will leave to our kids. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Now you see Ernie is properly restrained here, with his feet, his knees, his waist and his arms, his neck and the top of his crown. So when he's waterboarded, he won't be able to wiggle free and injure me. Right? He's going to speak and tell me what he knows.
Yeah.
To the final chapter.
Yeah, unfortunately I ripped the final chapter out, so it doesn't exist anymore, so there's not very much I can do about that.
Oh, that's really unfortunate. Well, it's actually pretty short, so I feel like I can read it all together.
Okay, fine.
So the final chapter...
I'm trying to unpack this chewed up paper to see if there's any words of value.
You're never going to be able to escape the cute.
I've got
go
it. Ahead.
So the final chapter is No Vanillas or Cute Happened, which is sort of the iconic phrase of Nick Land. What's his version?
I actually don't know. I don't know what this is in reference to off the top of my head.
I only remember the one that's like nothing human escapes the future, right? But in this case, it would be nothing cute escapes the now. I don't know. They say.
Yeah, something like that.
But all of this only came afterwards. Falling in love brought us to Cute Acceleration's force field, and it crinkled and crumpled and smushed everything that went before in a sweet tumble. Ubiquitous cuteness, obsolescent macho rhetoric with irresistible positive circulation and diffuse passivity, melting you into a synthetic flows of lip gloss and boy milk, boba and baubles, candy and keratin, doubling down on modding up. Cute is the pervermenon closest to the noumenon. Cute acceleration doesn't care for the nature or truth. Nature? Nature with a G. It is not sensible, serious,
yeah.
mature, macho, cold, dark, right or left. It is just soft, submissive, warm, snuggly, and utterly irresistible. Cute accelerationism signals endemic unseriousness. The generalized amorous intoxication of all social actors fallen into a passion that is troubling because it discovers virtual connections by cutting the circuits of the social reproduction, making its appearance as the lowest, most abject form of surrender to sensibility. The power of cute cannot be resisted by reason or understanding. Everything positive is contained in zero and is immensely cute.
Fuck you. That's why you're an egg? Just for the last line? You're a fucking hack fraud, dude. You're a fucking hack. This is a shit. I ate ink. I feel sickies. My tummy hurts. This is fucking bullshit.
Oh, that's so sad. Do you want to get some Pepto-Bismol? Do you want to reach your fingers into your throat to puke it all up?
Yes, hold on. Mina has a very relevant critique. It's kind of paradox how angry Smugbug is at this when he's reduced himself to a small cartoon snail as made his personality a product entertainment for media consumers. Note that this is one aspect of my being and not the totality of my being. In fact, an extremely thin slice of me is what you have access to, okay? My life contains multitudes that no one online will ever fucking experience, and that is by design. The snail is 7% of my totality. Cuteness demands totality. It demands total repression and submission. It demands everything from you. Jesus Christ.
Wow. Incredible. But, like, you know, this face is all we see on the marketing for Pawn Scum. What I have in front of me is as much it is smug as it is whiz.
What?
This is your branding. You are cute. Every single aspect of you is cute.
I was only made cute recently against my will. Against my will, I was made cute. I didn't want to be cute. I wanted to be Chad. I wanted to be cool. They took it away from me. They took away. I literally was going in the opposite direction. I was masculinizing. I had abs. I had a chunky chin, and then they stripped it away from me. Do you know what they did? They knew. They knew the only way to stop a powerful political movement was to fucking woobify it. Okay? They cute decelerated me.
Oh, that sounds absolutely wonderful.
Yeah!
So we're done with the actual content of the book.
I can't. Am I meant to read that? Because I cannot read that.
What?
Okay.
No. I've got more.
I'm gonna eat your copy of the book.
No, you fucker.
Give it here. Give it here.
I've frozen it. You can't move it.
Give it.
Let me get it away from you. How the fuck do I get it away from you?
Give it to me.
Nope.
Give it to me.
Nope.
No,
Out of reach.
Don't go out. No.
Out of reach.
Come on. That's all right. Fuck you. I can. Hold on. Where okay.
You look so uncomfy. You look so uncomfy up there. Get back in your chair. Can you, like, decompress a little bit? You look so high-strung. Can you just chill out a little bit? I've still got you trapped here because I've got more content for you, right?
What? I'm supposed to be done. You said I could leave. Let me go. I'm going so dry. Do you know how little humidity there is in here? I'm getting so dry and cracked.
Oh, but it's so warm and cuddly.
No.
Wiz, can you bring him some water, please? Some tea to rehydrate him. Okay. I want to give you a quick rundown on Murakami's idea of super flatness. So the tier 1 idea, the tier 1 interpretation. Okay, I want to give you a quick rundown on Murakami's idea of super flatness. So the tier 1 idea, the tier 1 interpretation of super flatness is the idea of your eyes moving across the two-dimensional space of a painting, right? So a lot of
Okay.
Murakami's art revolves around bringing like pre-World War II elements of Japanese society into a modern context. And a lot of that is sort of
Okay.
moving around. Can I get a screen pointer? Wow, look at that. And you can see it. So this has, four different sort of panels to it. And Murakami actually believes that he can summarize modern Japanese culture very similarly to these sort of panels. He says, collecting the images in this book, I will fuse the images together into a pair of four-paneled doors. I will call this work Japan. At the center of the image is the thick trunk of Japan's eccentric, secular, grotesque subculture. Moving up the trunk to the upper left of the image, you see a small bird representing a meaningless hierarchy, but you can ignore that. After moving your gaze slowly along a horizontal path to the left, there are celebrations and media frenzies that produce a sense of speed that zigzags up and down, but when you look down at the extreme left, you see a small branch growing up. At the end of the branch, there are two small blossoms, eroticism and grotesquerie. From there, your gaze speeds over to the lower center of the image, where there is something crushed beneath the thick trunk that looks a bit like a dog. Your gaze then fixes on the two dark eyes of the creature, which you recognize as an otaku. It would not be an exaggeration to say that this is the subject of the image. Alongside this creature are bamboo leaves known as manga and anime, which have been scattered about to diffuse their power. Returning to the thick trunk of freedom and its childlikeness, you see that it slides off to the right before scurrying down suddenly. Besides the trunk, there is a rock of pop, whose upward directionality is emphasized. Running above the trunk is deformed, cheap-ticket moss, which sets the tempo. All along the bottom, the scattering cosmos of entertainment is blossoming out of season. At the top of the image are gilded clouds above which the West, history, and art are only partially visible. This image is, as you would imagine, very eccentric, and it is hard to say that it is beautiful. Still, if it is possible to look over an image created by a gadget that constructs Japan as if it were a super flat picture, then perhaps that can become one kind of an art history. So it is very interesting that he describes what he imagines the painting summarizing modern Japan would look like instead of actually describing it.
Right. Okay.
All right. Can I move on to the next?
So, but I mean, okay, right. So so the signification is just, well, I mean, he's basically okay.
So he draws a lot on sort of his art in another sort of sense is trying to figure out the modern culture of Japan using the signifiers of old Japan. And so my local art museum actually has a very frequent exhibit showing art prints, and I saw these portraits which were in a series of done of a sort of mythical woman poet. And I thought this poem of hers was an absolute banger. Despite all I do, it is of no avail. My body has grown old while the waterfall remains unchanged in its appearance. And this poem is both diegetically within the 2D painting of, or the 2D print of the image, as well as the feminine clothing is sort of metaphorical for icons that are relevant towards the artist's intentions. And finally, it is also I think, a metaphor or a guide for how contemporary, at the time that these prints were made, Japanese women should be dressing. Right? This is what it means to be a proper noble woman. This is what it means to consume proper objects. And then the next part is the sort of movement in between static images, right? A lot of modern animation requires that you use smear frames, which when we take them at glance value is very strange, it's very arbitrary. They sort of morph and contort the body into these squishy, soft shapes that over the course of time develop into a larger image. And so this is sort of the idea that Murakami was working with when he created this DOB
series of art. So he started with this. Where's my pointer? He started with this sort of pure icon of logography, right? A lot of companies are very reliant on inserting their logo into anything possible, right? Or having a very easily recognizable logo. Mercedes, McDonald's, I mean, it almost looks directly like Disney, right? It looks like Mickey Mouse. Like there's sort of a shadow.
It's clearly evocative of,
Yeah, there's sort of a shadow Disney right down here. And what he does over a course of a couple different images, I don't have all of them up here, but he sort of contorts and stretches and twists and multiplies everything that once made it cute while maintaining the same sort of style. It grows teeth, it becomes amorphous, it becomes horrible, it becomes monstrous, right? And here on the right, we have pretty much something that looks exactly like a beholder, a D&D beholder, right? Obviously very monstrous, but each of the individual elements are sort of signifying cuteness. You're leaning back? That's very sort of like giving into the narrative.
I'm just trying to look at it more closely.
Oh yeah, I see. The final art piece that I've got on this slide is sort of the final deviation, where he integrates his understanding of Japan and his understanding of what it means to be a Japanese person, right? So Fat Man, Little Boy, the names of the bombs that ushered in this new age of Japanese industrialization. And the 727 numerology is very indicative because where he grew up in Japan, there was an American military base that was flying 727s in and out. So his art is very much so in relationship to the idea of culture, history, and the relationship to American universalism and American consumerism, right? So here is I think probably the best understanding of cute accelerationism, right? There's a couple of different sort of
I didn't rip this page out, and I probably should have, because this one fucking annoyed me.
Yeah, this one you can eat later, but like, you know, get a little bit of sugar with it, eat something sweet with it. It's kind of like a sweet page.
Alright, let's look at the schizo circuits.
I don't have much to say about this, but I do think that most of the book could have just been this right here.
Yeah, which is annoying because basically it feels like a lot of hack fraud schizoanalysis. It feels like it's kind of just arbitrary in its construction. Like it just asserts certain relationships and functions without any evidence, and I don't think it's made a strong enough case in the book for it, unless I've missed something in the notes. But do you want to make it bigger so that stream can like look at it?
Yeah, let me see if I can do my best here. So
yeah, we're kind of, if you want to maybe move the book out of the way to like a lower area that's like more within reach for me, just to coincidentally, and then that works too. Okay, I guess you can do it that way.
Here, you can have it right
There
here.
we go. All right, I'll be back for you later.
So chat, this is the schizo diagram of cute accelerationism, and I think that it draws upon a lot of valuable sources, and it sort of abstracts the complex nature, the like very ununitary perspective. I think that fascism has a very unitary perspective of causality, that A causes B causes C causes D, while this sort of absolutely rejects that into a sort of strange milieu that is abstracted with the idea of natural evolution, the market, the schizo database, which is the internet, and then their extrapolated hypothetical cute AI that is going to enslave humanity. Each of these flows. Ooh, can I because you can't see the top here. I mean, it didn't scan very well, but I think each of these flows, it's very indicative that it has each of them discards something as they churn and churn and churn into each other. And for me, it gives the idea that resistance, in a sort of leftist sense, is less about wanting to be reactionary to stop something, but resistance is about holding and slowing down something while these sort of extraneous ideas are naturally sort of petered out of the system.
Yeah, but a frustration of the way that they conceptualize this is that the only way to oppose, well, essentially, if you in this worldview, the only way to oppose cute accelerationism is threefold. You can either hold on to social obstacles like patriarchy, heteronormativity, and other forms of uncute posturing. You can run onto you can hold onto natural obstacles, prevent them from being discarded. So runaway, sexual selection, and peacock's tail, it says here. And you can hold on to axioms of capital, modern classical forms of representation, and deepness. But here's okay. So first of all, it is fucking delusional that they think that the schizo database, literally delusional, that they think the schizo database, a system of atomizing mimetic structures and turning them into consumable props you can attach yourself to, somehow just manifests a discard of capital. Like, it discards the axioms of capital, when literally these are just representations of the axioms of capital. Modern classical forms of representation, also, well, that one's debatable, but deepness is discarded. So they literally, I swear to fuck, they did this on purpose. They literally took the most important thing that they are giving up, which is depth, deepness, interiority, which is the thing I've been defending these entire last few hours, and they attach it to capital, basically saying, if you enjoy the idea of interiority and depth, you are a capitalist, because you have to save capitalism to save your interiority. Fuck it. Fucking bullshit. Fuck this fucking book. It's fucking garbage. Jesus Christ. Stupid ass fucking, the binder's out now. It's done. It's dead. Fucking trash.
Wow, that
Evil
was
designs.
incredibly reactionary of you.
I am reactionary. The reaction to this should be to airy it out of a helicopter.
Aquí la victoria!
We can jump up, we can get down low, mix it all up, we can go wherever you want. There's nothing we can do, 'cause we can go up, and that's what we can do. Yeah, we can jump up, we can get down low, mix it all up, we can go wherever you want. There's nothing we can do, 'cause we can go up.
Esiste per voi l'impossibile!
So there's more that I want to say about Murakami and their relationship to capitalism, right? So a lot of the critics of Murakami and the idea of super flatness as an expression of Japanese are not necessarily critics, but they're like uncritical adopters of the super flat aesthetic. They like how he is trying to renovate the Japanese national identity through aesthetics. And actually, Issei Miyake, who is a men's fashion designer, and Takizawa Naoki, I don't know who this guy is, but they wrote a piece saying that flatness is so unique to the Japanese cultural identity that even glasses have trouble staying on top of the Japanese face. All standards of beauty
Yikes.
and units of measure in Japan
I like
seem
that
to come
racism.
from two-dimensional.
You know how to appeal to me.
Right? It's absolutely insane way to interpret it. And most of what I'm taking, most of what I'm discussing right now is from a guy named Mark Steinberg, who wrote his master's thesis on superflatness. And he says that there are a couple different ways to approach the idea of superflatness. One, it's the commodification of otaku culture for the Orientalist West. It's sort of an auto-orientalizing desire of self-knowledge. The next way is to think of superflat as a genealogy of contemporary forms of Japanese visual art, including manga and anime. But in reality, it's just a history of the present because you are presently experiencing it. The final is to approach superflat as a manifestation of modern cultural logic through commodification in the digital age. Now, I think the very important part of this is how different artists modify the signifier of the eyes, right? To Deleuze and Guattari, the face is a white wall upon which all signifiers bounce off, and the eyes are a black hole of which everything sort of gets sucked into, right? the face is the intersection of the signifying and subjectifying regimes. It is constituted by and functions as a specific assemblage of power. Whether the face be that of the dictator, movie star, or a lover, it invariably exerts power over the subject. What is very frustrating to me about cute accelerationism is that it doesn't talk about eyes at all. Or how like
a good point,
eyes
actually.
are sort of artistically manipulated for cuteness, right? Now the
Oh my god, do you know why?
because the cover has the eyes.
Do you know why they don't talk about eyes?
Why?
It's because it would demand a critical examination of depth and interiority that they're not willing to do because it is
And
literally
what's on the cover? What's on the cover of the book?
Yeah, fuck it. Well,
Smug book, what's on the cover of the book?
Because eyes, cute eyes.
Adorable, cute eyes, yes. And they don't talk
Yeah.
about it again at all.
The eyes look like eggs though, which is kind of clever.
So Mark Steinberg says
Oh,
Murakami's art.
wait, hold on.
Yeah, what's up?
Sorry. But the eyes are literally embryonic. Look, open
Yes.
it up.
Yes.
They are literally a zygote. I just realized they're an egg and a zygote.
Yep. Yep.
I didn't realize that. It looks like a cell. Okay, cool.
So Mark Steinberg says that Murakami's art takes the eye from the black hole of subjectivity into a form of subjectification. It takes the white wall of signification as the resonator for meaning to the surface of metamorphosis, deformation, and instability. The subject is incorporated into the mediatized surface of Murakami's paintings, and along with the loss of critical distance comes the loss of the distance between subject and commodity. While Warhol had an implicit critique of the reproduction of reality and the commodification of art, Murakami uncritically accepts both at the same time. The DOB art is as much a commodity as it is an art, something like Pikachu
true,
or
yeah.
Mickey Mouse. Murakami's and Murakami in Japan has sort of created a collective of artists, which he calls sort of a super flat artistic collective. It is both an
Yeah.
advertising society. It is both an advertising agency for artists as much as it is an artists collective.
Yeah, I own a Murakami actually.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
From very very early in his career.
How much did it cost you?
Not much. I think it might have literally been like £100 or £200, and so it's probably worth quite a lot now.
So the important conclusions that Mark Steinberg reaches about Superflat is that the deformation of the face, the surface level reemergence, and the continued metamorphosis through serial transformation into commodities is conjoined with the replacement of the author artist by the producer promoter, right? You are never producing something as an artist anymore. You are producing it as a producer, someone who needs to promote it into a wider cultural sphere, right? For more minds to get in contact with. It is a very different phenomenon to draw for yourself than to create a product that you intend to produce. He says that the internet has redistributed human and non-human elements into our contemporary cognitive environment. The post-human is the conclusion of capitalistic commodification of flesh and experience. The relationship between what we observe as not human changes our idea of what a human is. Murakami's paintings show how far we have come from the face as the axis of signification and subjectification. This is not a process which erases the human, but rather puts into relationship the human with the non-human. Eyes are a very important part of this mechanism of process, and this is where I sort of loop to the idea of horror. I think that horror is a very important dichotomy along with cuteness, because I'm still like sort of feeling this idea out that cuteness is sort of a fascizing essentialist component, while the grotesque, the horrible, is a very sort of human egalitarianizing principle, right? Because we all experience the horror of our flesh, we all experience the age that comes with it, and no matter how many cute commodities that you buy, you are still going to age over time.
Okay, let's test this. Can we think of any like prominent object horror? Like I'm thinking like mainstream, right? Because all
Object
horror
horror?
I can think of, object horror, right? Like all the mainstream horror, the quintessential like cultural horrors I can think of are human horrors, right? Alien is the horror of like pregnancy. The Thing is the horror of xenophobia and in-group out-group contamination.
The main difference that I see is that people.
Slasher flicks are all human fears.
The main difference that I see is that cute is commodified, while horror isn't really commodified in the same way. You can buy cute accessories to your body, but you can't really buy like horrible, disgusting things.
Yeah.
And even when
Oscar,
you do, it is sort of
Chucky.
Chucky, yeah, the clown.
Sorry, Chucky. No, well, Chucky is a child, not a doll, right? Like the analog horror, in the same way that Alien is not about fear of aliens. Chucky is about the fear of children, right? Like the potentialities for violence of children. That's what Chucky represents. I don't think it's a representation of being scared of dolls.
But it is still a sort of representation of innocence, combined with murder, horror, rage, aggression.
But these are human, right? So the point I'm making is that I agree. I'm reinforcing your point by acknowledging that I don't think that there are many like culturally powerful object horrors that that would suggest that the grotesque is object rather than human. I think you're right. I think cute is commodified commercial object, and the grotesque is the human. I think that's a really good line of analysis and thought.
Yep.
Which is annoying because I'm not like personally I this is the thing, like I don't personally enjoy cute or horror, but I have a huge appreciation for horror and have nothing but disgust for cute. And I think
You
that
are
aligns
an
quite nicely
avid
with my
anime hater.
Yes, and probably my favorite film of all time is The Thing. And I'm not a horror fan, but that is my favorite. I think that is the perfect movie, and I think that its themes are just so fucking. It's great. I'm not gonna.
So for me,
right now.
the
But
perfect
yeah,
movie was
Yeah.
WALL-E. I thought WALL-E was an absolutely
That's a very
stunning.
well constructed movie. Yeah.
I loved WALL-E so much, and reflecting on these same sort of ideas, most of the main characters were robots who used sort of cute or grotesque imagery to humanize them. Eve was very round, bubbly, modern. WALL-E was very ancient, rustic, and sort of grounded. But the interesting thing is that is the question of how are the humans on the spaceship represented in WALL-E, right? This is a post-capitalism society where everything
Yeah.
is taken care of for you on a ship. How do the artists want to represent the humans on the ship? They're all fat, they're all
Oh my
stupid,
God.
all of their bones have atrophied into a sort of jelly. And what we're seeing here is the
They
concept.
cute accelerated.
Yes, these
Fuck.
this is the concept art for the humans in WALL-E.
Oh no.
And I think it is absolutely
dude.
horrible. It is absolutely disgusting for you to bear witness to it.
Oh my god, base, dude. What a good catch. This is such a great. What a great conclusion.
Here's here's a little bit more. I think
sorry.
there's more that we can do with the idea of horror, especially when it comes to blocking out the eyes. When I was in like high school or something, these Kurt Miller paintings were recommended to me on Instagram, and I felt very attached to them. They felt great because they sort of abstract a very common sort of frustration that I think we have with flesh and our relationship to the signifiers of professionalism, like the suit. The man with no face in a suit that has to scream and yell with no eyes to perceive the world, I think is a very powerful visualizer. There's tons of people who copy Bastiat's style of abstract humanism, and they're called like stupid and commodifying like black identity, when in reality it is something that I think that all of us experience to varying degrees. Black flesh is commodified to a different degree than white flesh has been in history, and that's why his painting has a very special niche in the Leftern zeitgeist. But there are people innovating and using the same sort of aesthetic to build upon. And what we've got at the middle bottom is Yvonne Albright's, which is like World War One-ish sort of timeline, his interpretation of Dorian Gray's portrait at the end of the book. So after Dorian Gray has lived his life of cuteness, of hedonism, of fucking, of sucking, of smoking, all of his defects, his age, bundle into a portrait that he stows away and keeps hidden from the outside world while he goes and lives his hedonistic lifestyle. And I think this painting, this artist's interpretation of it, I think is very interesting because it's very grotesque, and it almost looks like what early AI was developing images through, right?
Oh, you're right. It's got a kind of like psychedelic form to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all that I have in terms of art to show, but I'd like to describe a little bit more the conclusion of Mark Steinberg's conclusion for Superflat. He says that Superflat is a marketing strategy. It is a project aimed towards defining national aesthetic, genealogy, and simultaneously integrating each of those. It is not a utopian project, but a project in interconnectedness. Superflat operates through connection rather than exclusion, through a series than chronology, and transformation rather than separation, right? The Superflat exhibition was a series of multiple different paintings by different authors from different time periods as well. This is a semiotic connection to power, and the society of and the depiction of the transition from the society of discipline to the society of control. The systems of hierarchy which underline the functioning of disciplinary societies has indeed been eclipsed. The aesthetic of openness, series, and metamorphosis is the logic of convergence, which characterizes what is known as late capitalism, or cybercapitalism. Deleuze believes that societies of control are characterized by the very absence of boundaries. Superflat art presents the possibility of grasping at the semiotics of our digital age. It's the assemblage of expression and orientating ourselves as humans in the interaction of multiple planes and images of culture, commodity, and history.
Okay. I think that is that connects nicely in terms of like the descriptive phenomena. I think the best parts of cute accelerationism were the ones that were adherent to like the descriptive phenomena and kind of revealed more aspects of cute, which I really valued. I value knowing my enemy better, and I think where the value of this super flatness project as it relates to cute accelerationism is that it is descriptive of a phenomenon, and that help to perceive it is to be able to think about it, construct language around it, and combat it or divert it where necessary or where useful.
Yep.
So this is where I think like the art has greater value than the theory, than the piece of theory that we've looked at.
And art requires
super interesting.
Art is sort of a two-dimensional, very superficial sort of accumulation of multiple different processes that you as an observer interact with, right? If we're going to imagine a future that is beyond the society of control, I think we need to figure out how to get the best of both worlds, both the cute and the grotesque, both the ooified and the lone grizzled man at the end of the world.
Don't try and resolve the dialectic, you fucking
No,
hack.
you can't resolve the dialectic. You're trying to be a utopian.
I would dismiss the cute in favor of the grotesque. Like, I feel like cute, as we've observed throughout this, is fundamentally commodity and commercialized. Like, it is fundamentally anti-human in the sense that it attaches a system of value outside humanness.
It's your ideal of a human.
Well, yeah, but my ideal of a human is the correct ideal. The ideal of a human, like cuteness, every human aspect that cuteness exemplifies is anti-human, right? It's anti-reproduction, it's anti-climax, it's pro-infinite wobbling around the edges of pleasure. It is dressing yourself in aestheticisms, turning yourself into a database of mimetic objects, rather than developing your interiority and depth. Like, yes, I think that cuteness fetishizes almost all of the worst fucking aspects of humanity. One of the reasons I think that is attributed to, like, a feminine aspect is because we've used femininity as a dumping ground for aspects of humanity that we don't value. But I think that cute genuinely lacks value, or is like a dangerous form that ends up ultimately, like, progressing us down a line of destruction, which accelerationism often does.
Yeah, but life is destruction. Life is pain. I think the lesson that we can learn from
denies that.
this text.
Yeah.
No, I think the lesson that we can learn from this text is, again, the question of why bother trying. It is sort of a revolutionary act to bother to keep trying. It is a revolutionary act to bother to reproduce your ideas in new forms and new entities.
Yeah, the only act of rebellion I can think of is to reject passivity in almost all of its forms. Like,
Yep.
your loss of agency is a loss of humanity, and acute accelerationism demands a loss of agency, right? It pretends that it's not, but ultimately it's just giving you a choice of what tassels and what cute little decorations you want to hang up in your cage. Ultimately, that's all that cute accelerationism can offer to you, is submission and surrender to a system, and you get to pick out exactly how cute you look when the system eventually grinds you into fucking mulch. You'll be cute slime at the looping the gears of capitalism.
Yeah, for the next one.
Well, yeah.
I think-
Yeah. You lubricate the trans pipeline.
Yep.
Bad MB, very bad MB. All right. Oh shit! We ran a little long.
We
I guess
did run a
we had
little
some
long.
fumbly starts. Yeah. Do you want to do a call in or two?
Yeah, let's have
It's up to you, I mean-
a couple of call-ins. Who's interested in speaking their minds? Who's interested
Salty
in
Squids?
resolving the dialectic between trying and resolving and resigning yourself to the future?
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm gonna put this in the fire.
Oh,
Burn it!
oh my
Burn
god.
it! In you go, motherfucker! You're done! Ha! Get out! Oh god! Oh, there's some dark spirits.
Yeah, you do not want to be inhaling those fumes at all.
Holy fuck!
There's mold. There's
Oh.
disgusting shit in there.
Oh.
Oh, Lily's in the
feel different.
waiting room. Do you not want to talk to her?
I'm
Oh, bless you.
sorry.
These
The
hiccups are very
inhaling
cute
cute
of you.
accelerationism. Yeah, inhaling cute accelerationism gave me hiccups.
Ooh.
Hi, Lily.
You want to know why I was in the waiting room? I was waiting
What?
for Salty Squid to go live. Okay.
Wow.
Get the fuck out
Yeah.
of here.
I didn't even watch your
Fuck.
stream. I was at work.
That's such
Get
a
the
lie.
fuck out.
She was listening in.
What
She
a
didn't need to watch it.
Yeah, she was listening.
Yeah.
She was listening.
She's got nothing better to do.
Pivot into Salty Stream. Yeah, we are. I think we can. I think we did. We had a call in. I think we can.
Yeah,
we can
I
wrap
feel
up,
like we
think.
had a pretty diverse variety of perspectives with our call-ins.
Yeah. Do you know
Um,
how to raid on Twitch?
Let me... I think I can. So if I go to creator dashboard...
Okay. Well, we can vibe while Salty Squid gets his stream set up.
Yeah, well, he gets his shit together. Oh my god, these like streamers are so like incompetent with the way that they organize their streams. Okay, so then if I press raid... Where's Salty?
Okay. Well, he's not live yet, so I'm gonna.
Search live. Salty...
Yeah, he's not live yet. I'm pinging him just to check what's going on.
Yeah, wake his ass up. Get him going.
Yeah, we'll vibe in the meantime while he gets his shit set up.
So I mean, I feel
We
like
can do call-ins as well.
I'm pretty happy with our analysis of it. I feel like you're still being belligerently against it, and I think that's fine because as Mina said, you are still a cute little snail right now.
Yeah, I think the distinction I would make is that I mean, the original reason I adopted a cute persona was for the purposes of, like, deception. Like, I literally... I benefited from the idea of making my opponent look silly in engaging with me while I was able to be as serious as possible. Like, I'm literally abusing the manipulative structure of cuteness in order to jab and disrupt other people's argumentation. That was
Cuteness
the original
is sort
conceit,
of
and it
like
worked.
about covering the truth up.
Yes, yeah, which is why I find cute accelerationism bullshit, because they lie repeatedly and say they have no depth and no interiority, when really what they're doing is they are a cute plushy veneer over the frame of the mecha nightmare Nicklandian unconditional accelerationist capital god of the future, which is inevitably what they will produce by being passive.
No, but they're being a reaction to that sort of identity of or that sort of configuration. I do actually have one more comment about cute accelerationism and the dichotomy between cute and grotesque. Is that I think it kind of brings us back to Oedipus. Smug, it brings us back to Oedipus. You gotta gouge your eyes out to properly see the truth in a very sort of grotesque act, to gouge them out to see beyond the veil of simulacra, simulation, and illusion of cuteness.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Well, you know what? I like Deleuze. I reject Oedipus. Okay. Fuck the.
No, but
fuck the
Deleuze doesn't
pro-capitalist
reject
structure.
Oedipus. Oedipus is, useful occasionally.
Deleuze references Oedipus as the failure of Freud, as I understand it. This could be me showing my lack of Deleuzian credentials. The failure of Freud is that the Oedipal construct is accurate, but only accurate for the capitalist kind of civilizational frame, and that other frames can and should exist. So yes, it's like descriptive of a model, but that model is constructed in order to provide the necessary construction to psychologically persist in a civilizational kind of capitalist context.
Wow, it was so enjoyable having you on the streams. Say hi to Salty Squid, everybody. Bye bye. Enjoy our lovely friend.
Raid! Don't fuck this up. Raid!
No, I pressed it. It all
Okay,
works.
nice. Nicely done.